Hope everyone is now with us joining the sessions. Once again, I'd like to welcome everybody. Uh, Hello and welcome to today's sessions, localizing the traffic in collaborations between Manama IX and Amsterdam IX. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Iman Zulfi. I'll be responsible for hosting this session today, and I'd like to share with you a few guidelines of the webinars that to make it a smooth session and ensure that everybody benefits from the time investing with us today. The chat function will be used for the announcement for all attendees, and we've decided to make that session interactive as much as possible. So you're welcome to ask questions. There is a question Q&A space for you to raise your questions. Please do send us your questions, and if you can share the name of your name and the name of the company, please do. And if I may ask, please switch to the gallery mode so you can see all the panelists at the same time. Just to have, let's say, a summary on the agenda, what you're expecting to hear from us today is what the current situation in the Middle East with regard to the internet and the internet traffic and how it's growing and what are the challenges that we're facing this industry. Then localizing the traffic in the Middle East and its impact on the cost and latency, and that's the main topic of our webinar today, and how keeping the traffic local will impact the digital transformations on the Middle East. We're going to have our panelists who's going to summarize these points and going to give their insights on these topics. Please join me in welcoming our panelists who will give us an insights on the internet exchanges and how they are addressing the latency by localizing the traffic and the ultimate benefits for the businesses. First of all, welcome to Frederick Koshbeek, a senior technical business developer with Amazon Web Services. He's part of IP peering team and looks after peering and edge planning for the Amazon AS16509 Edge. Welcome to Frederick. Then we have Nina Barkson from Subspace. Nina leads the team that is building and maintaining the network partners for and network vendor relationships in EMEA region. Beside that, she and her team look after peering. Then we have Ono from Amsterdam IX. Ono heads a global sales director and has been leading the Amsterdam global sales team for the past 7 years. We have Taha Hussein. Taha is a senior product manager and a member of the Batelco Global Services team. He has over 20 years of experiences in IT and telecom. He leads the fastest growing IX in the region, Manama IX. Given some, let's say, stats or situations with the internet traffic in the Middle East, as all of you know that the internet became a necessity with everybody, from an end users to the content providers, to the ISPs, to the cloud providers. So the internet growth in the region is growing at a fast rate. The number of internet users, one of the studies says that in EMEA by 2023 is expected to be 611 million users, which makes the compound annual growth of the internet traffic to reach 42%. That's a huge jump in the internet. And all of you will agree with me that COVID-19, the current situations, made the internet grow with unexceptional growth rate. And honestly speaking, the ISPs that were ready for that sudden surge in the internet are lucky because they have made a new stream of revenue by let's say, addressing the demand, the growth of the internet, the need for the internet. And as you can also agree with me that a lot of things has been digitized because of the COVID. In a way, we can say thank you for the current situations, because a lot of initiatives, they were put on hold or they were progressing so slow, but because of the let's say the social distancing and being away from the service providers directly, the current situation has accelerated the need for digitization. So the internet is growing, and there is a lot of studies that saying that the internet will grow faster because there are industries that are booming. One of the industries is the gaming. The gaming traffic is contributing a lot. There's a stat says that it will grow, the gaming traffic will grow at a compound rate of 37% by 2021. That's a huge. That's a huge traffic and a huge jump on the internet growth. There is a source from Bahrain EDB, which is Economic Development Boards. There says that there are an estimate number of 336 million gamers within MENA region. Again, that's not a small number, and that's a number alerting for the gaming providers, for the ISPs to consider by having that number in their strategy when they want to fulfill the requirements for the users. You know, the gamers, the main objective for them is the latency. Don't play with that because they're going to hate your services for good, because they're going to lose the games and you're going to lose them as an end users. Another, let's say, key drivers who's contributing to the growth of the internet traffic is the social networking. You know that the social networking today is penetrating the internet growth, and it forms almost 81% of residential internet users. Today, almost everybody on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat, so that contributes a lot. The other thing is the connected networks. There are almost 2.6 billion network connected devices, and it has been growing from 2018 to today by quite like 50% growth. Having said all this, and having said that the priority for internet service providers, for the end users, is the latency, is the cost, and everybody wants to enjoy the best speed in the world. However, we will remain with challenges, and these are challenges. Some of them are addressed, and some of them are still being not addressed, and some of them are in the process of addressing them to fulfill the requirements. The first challenge which we have in the Middle East is the dependency on reaching the content. It will always remain high and inefficient. There is a report says that 82% of the Middle East international internet traffic is still connected to Europe. So I'm still going all the way from the Middle East to Europe to get my content. So that adds a latency and a cost to my traffic. 96% of international IP traffic in the Middle East is long haul from other continents. We can see there is an intra-regional growth or intra-regional connectivity that grows, but it grows at a very, very low rate compared to our dependency on the inter-regional connectivity going to the international. The reason that there is a, let's say, a balance between the inter and intra-regional connectivity is the investment that some of the countries have done in terms of having the cable systems that is connecting the region, the investment they have done in putting the eco-digital system in place. And we will talk about how Bahrain has invested and has put that in their strategy for making Bahrain as a digital hub. The content is usually hosted in other regions or other contents. And for reaching these contents, you have to go through subsea cables. And everybody knows that subsea cables are prone to cut. And the history has a lot of these incidents where the reaching the content became an issue. The other challenge, and again, this is adding to the gamers, to the application sensitive performance, is the RTD. Going to the global hubs or reaching the global hubs, it will take around 200 to 300 milliseconds. That is not something that is acceptable or desired by the users. The other thing is the IP transit cost. I'm sure everybody knows that the IP transit cost in the region is 25% or 25-fold in comparison to Europe. Having said that, these are the challenges in the Middle East, but what is Bahrain's roles in particular or in general in addressing the digital transformation in the Middle East? By the way, Bahrain recognizes the importance of the digital technology a lot. And Bahrain's digital government strategy in 2022 has emphasized the transformation of services through digital technologies. Bahrain also has a comprehensive suite of data protection laws and data interoperability, which makes it an ideal place for businesses to come and invest and expand their businesses in the region. In today's sessions, we will see also what Bahrain has done in having the regional internet exchange, which is Manama IX. This is another investment done by Batelco beside the global zone, the ecosystem that Batelco has invested in having these two services in connections with the BGN, its own networks connecting the GCC, made Bahrain or let's say put Bahrain on the map of becoming a digital hub. And we collectively working towards achieving that objective. Now, I have put my stats over here, and that was a general informations, but I would like to hear from our panelists who are expert in the field of the peering and in the exchange. I would like to start with Ono, who has a good number of years of in global sales with Amsterdam IX. And Ono, I would like you to explain to us the role of the IX in the current situations, given the challenges that I have shared just now, how the IX is addressing these challenges.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Iman, and congratulations on the great launch of Manama IX with huge traffic already after 1 year. Very well done, and pleased to see it. When you look at the role of an IX, and you talked a lot about the digital transformation, digital economy, a successful IX is an enabler of a digital transformation. And if you compare it, for example, to the Netherlands, where we 25 years ago, we started the IX, and right now, 25 later, we are a part of the vital infrastructure in the Netherlands, comparable to energy, water, etc. The traffic increased a lot. This week we had a peak of 9 terabit. So that attracts a lot of other companies. We had a lot of data centers joining. We had hosting companies. And if you look at the amount of jobs that have been created, that's about 20,000 or 30,000 directly from this digital infrastructure. And if you look at the revenue that it brings in, it's a couple of billion euros in revenue. But that's only the impact for the data centers, for the hosting companies, for the IXs. But if you look at the broader picture, it contributes a lot to the digital economy. So a successful IX, that is the key word here, I believe, because there are many IXs in the Middle East that are not that successful for some of the reasons that you already gave. But a successful IX can for sure contribute greatly to the digital transformation.
Excellent. And how do you see Manama X? You've mentioned Manama X has been growing in a very healthy, let's say, space. How do you see it attracting other, let's say, members to come and join?
Yeah, it's so to start an IX is not basically that difficult. You need some switches and then routers, and then you have an internet exchange. It all comes down to the ecosystem that you create around it and the support that is given, for example, by the government. I remember that 2 years ago, I attended an ITU event in Manama that was supported by the TRA, the regulator, and where the topic really was also how can we increase the peering in the Middle East. And the TRA and the Bahrain government, they are really supportive indeed in ensuring that the IX can operate in a neutral manner, and also thanks to the global zone. So I believe that Manama is also well connected with the subsea cables. The population is relatively small, but the potential of becoming the regional hub is big, and it's happening already, as you can see from the members that you already have.
Okay, thank you, Ono. Taha, from your experience working with Amsterdam IX and building Manama IX, how do you see that the exchange and the internet exchange in Bahrain has served the region in terms of the cost, in terms of latency? Because we've been hearing that coming to the internet exchange will save you a lot of latency, will have a great performance, as well as will have a great saving on your cost. So can you explain for us how this works?
Sorry. Hi everyone, and thank you, Iman. Apparently, I was muted. Um,
No.
the Manama IX, like any IX, has the technology to serve uh, operating ISPs, the internet service providers, and the content providers to shake hand in one place. What happens is that, as you well mentioned earlier, the ISPs in this region were all reaching to Europe, to Amsterdam, likes of Amsterdam IX and the other big IXs such as DKX and London IX and others to reach to their contents, okay, to their customer contents. That latency using all these subsea cables that go all around the Arabian Peninsula to the Red Sea and reaching Europe takes something around 100 to 150 milliseconds. That's a long distance for some sensitive applications that are very latency sensitive, such as banking applications, such as gaming applications. So having said that, what we were trying to do is to having the strategy of the government to place Bahrain as a regional hub for data movement and having the global business strategy in Batelco to make Batelco main player in this movement, we decided to build that ecosystem, starting with a carrier neutral data center and an IX that can serve all the operators locally and regionally. And we can proudly say that nearly, I would say 50% or more of the local operators and around 100% of the big local data operators are on the IX. Many of the largest internet service providers in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and other regional countries, they are on the IX and they are on the IX with great bandwidth. And thanks to, well, it's always the chicken or the egg thing. I keep on repeating that when you're building an IX, as Uno said, it's as easy as bringing a box of switches or a box and a router and a server to build an IX. But to make it successful, you have to have contents and you have to have ISPs coming in. Contents will say, I need ISPs there, I need population, I need people. Bahrain is small, you have only around 1 million people. And the ISPs say that we want content. Why would we come to your IX if you don't have content? So it's always chicken or egg, but we successfully managed to get likes of Amazon Web Services, such a big company in Bahrain, thanks to the government also for the support for getting Amazon here, Subspace, and other content providers as well are now hosted in Global Zone, and the greatest or the biggest internet service providers of the region found the appetite to come and connect. Now today I can proudly say that Manama IX is not representing 1 million subscriber or million consumers. It's representing something around between 30 and 40 million internet users. All these people are connecting through different ISPs in the region, and they come to the IX to get their content from the content providers. So what we did is that we managed to get the content closer to the people, giving them a latency around 5 milliseconds instead of 150 milliseconds to reach Europe. And also through a single port, they can talk to multiple, that's the normal IX service. With a single port and a single connectivity, they can talk to any number of ISPs and content providers, instead of having multiple cables going to Europe to reach to their content.
Thank you, Taha. So it's very interesting that Manama IX has, in a very short period of time, has attracted a huge number of eyeballs. And again, it was not something simple, easy to do, because the challenge of having the right content in the internet exchange available for the others to come and get connected, because again, as you said, the content, what makes your IX is very important. So in terms of the cost, how does the internet exchange serve the cost? Does it really reduce the cost of the internet when you are connected, and how that's work?
Let me first say that Bahrain, thanks to our TRA, became one of the most liberalized markets in telecom in the Gulf region. And the terminations and cost of connection in Bahrain are very low compared to the other countries around us. And now for us the cost consists of the cost of the cables, that international cables to reach to the content, okay? So that is reduced by having them localized. So if like a Saudi operator wants to reach to some content in Europe, they have to buy capacities, international capacities, which are very costly. On the other hand, if they just need to reach to the contents that are residing in Bahrain, they will just pay a cross connect over the bridge, and they come with a very low cost to enter the global zone and get connected. If they are hosted in the global zone, it's just a matter of cross connects that are hundreds of dollars, and instead of tens of thousands of dollars that needs to be paid to reach Europe. Previously, the ISPs in the region were preferring to go to Europe rather than the region because the termination in the region was very costly. Currently, the prices in this region are dropping, and I'm promising everybody that these numbers will drop more and more because this region is changing, the shape is changing, and we are part of this change. We will make it happen. We will make this region close to European shape in no time. We are on the path, and soon we will see the traffic growth reaching the numbers that Una just mentioned. I'm very hopeful. Of course, we have so far reached only 200 gig. It's one of the biggest numbers in the MENA region, or at least in the Gulf, in the GCC. It's one of the top numbers in traffic exchange. And the reason that we have reached there is really because the cost is because the ISPs see that it makes more sense to them to come to the Manama IX and to connect to the contents regionally rather than going all the way to Europe or Asia.
Okay, so we are expecting with the Manama IX presence in the, let's say, in the GCC or in the region, will make the pipe going from Middle East to Europe become thinner and thinner over time.
Yes.
Thank you, Taha. Now, having you said that, I'd like to hear from Nina from Subspace, who's responsible for the network development, and at the same time, the latency, it's let's say a top priority for you and to ensure that you develop the right network for your customers. So how do you see Manama IX is serving or addressing your requirements, Nina?
There we go. Unmuted. Thank you so much for having me. Well, it is. I think for the IX for us is two things. I mean, the latency obviously is important, and from that perspective, I mean, our POP in Bahrain is one of many POPs in the Middle East because the purpose of our network is to accelerate the traffic. But what Manama IX does is it also enabled us to connect to more ISPs in an easier way. So the acceleration part inside Bahrain maybe not as big as it could have been, but it enabled us to connect to ISPs in that will come to Bahrain themselves. And obviously also to the local market. I mean, that means that the local market is way easily served than if we had to go out and connect individually to each and every ISP in the regional market. Another really big benefit I see from internet exchanges to enter into this market is that it facilitates the idea of collaboration. The idea that even though you're a competitor, you can also collaborate to give everybody a better experience. So you will be better, your competitor will also be better, but it will grow the market and you will both benefit. That is often, you know, that's often a discussion we have in markets outside of areas like Europe, where we've learned this 20 years ago. And internet exchanges is the living proof of that working, that people are connected and they see their business growing, and the people who are not connected see the other people's business growing and go, maybe those guys have realized something. Yeah.
So you are saying that the benefits of being a member of Manama IX, it's becoming more and more, let's say, clear for the people, and then they realize the benefits by having or by seeing big names like yourself and Amazon being part of the internet exchange, whether it's Manama IX or any other exchanges.
Exactly, and I feel that, you know, the benefit of an IX and the success of an IX is not is proven by the synergy that all the members bring together. It's not, I mean, I'm very sad sometimes about hearing, oh, as long as we get the content on our IX, we're safe and we need the content. That's not necessarily true. Like Subspace, why would we connect to Manama IX if we couldn't connect to the eyeball networks, which are those that we are interested in?
Yeah.
So it's not just the content. It's like you need to get the whole ecosystem interested, and you need to get the whole ecosystem connected. And I think the saddest example I've seen is a new IX somewhere. You know, we had a big content provider connected, and the big content provider decided, well, this is actually not working for us. So they pulled out, and the exchange was like, well, you're pulling away our complete business foundation. And then that's not the right business model to have. So, what I like about Manama IX is that we already have both parties on the IX. So I feel that that's a path to success.
Excellent. So very, very nice, interesting information, Nina. So it's not about the content being there, it's about the collaboration and the synergy that the members in the internet exchange is demonstrating, as well as the ecosystem that serve the entire digital platform. If I might ask Frederick the same questions, being a giant cloud providers, your presence in Bahrain, this is something remarkable. And we would like to hear from your point of view how Manama IX is serving your objectives in the region as well.
Okay, sure. Thanks you, Aman, for the question. Yeah, so AWS is of course super invested in Bahrain and the Manama IX as a region in total. It is really fun for us to be able to do things in the Middle East on behalf of our customers. It is in a very expansive market all over the place. We see a lot of uptake in the whole market. So it is something that customers has been asking for quite some time. And Manama IX is a very important like building block in this. And as with every IX, I would say that 50% is the switch and 50% is the community. Just as Nina was into as well, right? That it is not about running a switch. Anyone can run a switch, right? But it is about forming a community and also fostering kind of the people that connect together and fostering in the local market that interconnection is good. It is probably, you know, beneficial for both parties. And that peering is generally open, and people are trying to do the best thing for on both sides of the customers. Like, sorry, am I low? I saw that chat there. So yeah, I would say that it is very important that IX exists, and as you can see, we're connected to, I believe, 140 IXs globally, and it's very rarely we enter a market unless there's an IX there. So obviously Manama IX has helped us with our Bahrain region launch for sure. Um, yeah, and
So
mhm.
go ahead, sorry.
No, it's you.
So now we can see that the growth on the Minamics is happening because of AWS. So I'm sure that you are also expecting more growth to happen in Minamics for serving the region itself. Can you elaborate on this, please, Frederick?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I would say that we're just starting, right? Like it is as we say on Amazon, right? It's always day one. So yeah, we're still on day one in Bahrain. There will be a lot more things coming, for sure, and also within the region in itself, the whole MENA region is something that we focus quite a lot on. So there will be more traffic. We would love to see more people on the IX, any ISPs in the region that connects. We are more than happy to open the discussion about how we do optimal peering in between each other. So yeah, absolutely. That will be something that I would like to see as well, to get more growth going and more people joining. 100%.
Excellent. Thanks, Frederick. Before I go to the next questions to my panelists, I have a question from one of the audience, Ammar. He says, what are the plans for bringing big content providers, CDNs, to the global zone and Manama IX, like Google, Facebook, Twitter, PlayStation, TikTok, Tencent, and Microsoft? All big names are listed over here. So, Taha, you'd like to take that questions and answer, please?
Yeah, actually, the work is in progress with all these content providers. A couple of them are already there on the Manama X, and people are exchanging traffic with Microsoft is there, Google is there with a very limited bandwidth, and that's why they are hesitant to peer with or they are slow in their peering, but they started and they exchanged some data. Microsoft are exchanging data in addition to AWS and Subspace and others. But we are working with Facebook and other like TikTok and others to get them as well on the IX. And soon, inshallah, as our eyeballs are growing, our contents are also going to grow.
So we can say that the next webinar sessions we're going to have, we'll have the other names with us as well. So the panelists can get bigger.
Well, our chief is listening, so you're putting a target on me.
The other questions we have from Richard, he is asking that what are the steps that you need to expand and encourage the growth of the traffic in Bahrain? So we have started, or Bahrain has started putting itself on the map for being a digital hub. But are there other steps that we need, or do we have to do more to grow the traffic in Bahrain? That's a question for all the panelists, so feel free to answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, he's saying what are the steps are needed to expand and encourage the traffic growth in Bahrain? So, for example, you have now Manama IX is there. You have the global zone. So, what else you have in terms of plan?
Well, the step one was to build the ecosystem, to have the place ready for the content providers and for the ISPs to come and shake hands. Okay, and that step was done. Now it's all about reaching out and getting them to believe that this is successful, and we have demonstrated a successful IX. So I think people are getting to realize that this is a good platform for them. This is the place where they can talk to everybody, and this is just as people get connected, as the traffic grows in the region.
Okay, so as Nina said, that people will see people on the internet, how they are benefiting from being a member of Manama IX or internet exchanges, and they will say, oh, we have to be part of that a platform to be also benefiting the same advantages. Going to the next session, to the next question to my panelists is that, how do you see the internet development in the Middle East? Ono, can you please let us know, where do you see the internet development in Middle East in the coming 5 years?
Yeah, in general, you can say that the internet is growing year on year globally, and the Middle East was lagging a bit behind some of the other parts of the world, like Europe and the US, etc. And you see that they are catching up now. That it's a very young population in the Middle East. They're all on the social media. They're entrepreneurial. You see more startups are coming up. You see companies in the fintech who are, I believe that in Bahrain, it's heavily supported that young people start fintech companies. You see the growth of the 5G adoption in the region. You see the people going to the cloud, the IoT, what you already mentioned. So for sure, I see a massive growth happening in the Middle East. You also see that there are many data centers being built. For example, in the MENA region, Telecom Egypt announced a new data center built last week. You see other parts in Oman. So in the whole region, it's booming and it's lagging behind. And also regarding the internet exchanges, there are not that many internet exchanges at the moment in the Middle East. So my guess is that will change as well for the benefit of all.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And I remember those days when we were talking about the cloud and everybody was like, no way I can take my data to the cloud. I don't trust where it is. And now there are comprehensive data laws in Bahrain that protect the individual personal information. So everybody is now more confident and more open to go into the cloud. So the internet growth in the Middle East has taken a different shape, and it's being now on par of what's happening on the other regions like Europe and US.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that also for the Manama IX, I think it's really good, because before this, you had only the UAE IX, so 1 point, and then otherwise you should go to Europe. And with the Manama IX serving the region, it's incredibly beneficial for the whole community and for the growth of the internet. And I expect more of them.
Yes, coming to this, I have a question from one of the members, and she's asking, or he is asking, what makes Manama IX different than UAE IX, being older in the region, being more bigger in terms of the tenants? Taha, maybe you can answer these questions.
Supported by M6.
Supported by M6, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
see, what I was mentioning earlier, yes, UAE IX is a very successful IX in the region, and they've been there for 8 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We have joined this community of IXs just 1 year ago, and we are in par with them in the number of gigabits being exchanged, and if we are not more. The thing is that we have, I always tend to say that we have a more liberal market in Bahrain. We have easier access. I don't want to talk bad about UAE IX. UAE IX is doing very good, but we have a very good environment, very good ecosystem that was built and supported by huge or giants in IX, like Amsterdam IX, and in contents like AWS and Subspace and others as well who are there. So yes, we think that we can serve the internet service providers in this region very well.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to bear in mind that if you look at, for example, the Netherlands, it's a small country, densely populated, but it's a small country, 17 million people, a bit larger than Bahrain. But there are probably more internet exchanges in the Netherlands than in the whole of the Middle East. So there's a lot of space for internet exchange to start, and it's only logical that there's one in Bahrain serving the region.
Yeah. I think Nina has something to add here as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a very simple answer to that question. Is it's, you know, it's in Bahrain. It's somewhere else. It's another one. You know, exactly, just like we in our home would like to have choices, or maybe have more than one provider if we feel that our internet connection is really important. And we definitely would like to have choices between our providers. The same way with internet exchanges. The more you have, the more choice you have, you get a better product because there's a little bit of competition between the two, or the many. But you also get the increased resilience and security of the whole ecosystem. So it's, again, here we have benefit from many and collaboration for everyone. So also, it's not just about there should be, like, why is MNIX, you know, instead of UAIX? No, it's not instead, it's in addition to, and the next one, and the next one.
So can we see some sort of collaboration between, do we foresee that collaboration is happening in the region between IXs? Because as Nina said, at the end of the day, it's not who is over who, but how the internet exchanges at the end of the day can serve the community, can serve the end users.
Well, I think that there is, that's the traditional part of the IXs. So originally IX was in a certain location, and they stayed there, and there was a close cooperation, for example, in Europe with the Euro IX. And there were many events being held between the IXs. For example, we host our own event in the Netherlands, well, not the Netherlands, in Europe, together with GKIX and Links, our competitors, but they're also our colleagues. And we work also together on certain parts. And I expect that will happen in the Middle East at a certain point as well. It might even be that UAE IX and Manama IX will be interconnected, or that some other exchange that will start somewhere in the region will be connected to Manama IX. So there are many ways, and indeed, like Nina mentioned, they should collaborate because that's for the better for everyone.
Actually, if I may add, we are in progress of working of remotely peering to these to the contents on these IXs. So we are working closely with UAIX and others as well to provide the customers of the Manama IX with the access to the content that are not currently available on Manama IX as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are in collaboration mode rather than competition mode, which ultimately will benefit the customers at the end of the day. And sometimes the competition, healthy competition, there is always a winner at the end of the day, which is the end users who's going to benefit from that collaboration. Tahab, you've mentioned about Global Zone, and I believe that Manama IX is hosted in Global Zone, and Global Zone is a carrier-neutral facility which hosts your internet exchange. Can you explain how the Global Zone and what's its role in the digital transformations? We know that Batelco has invested as part of its initiatives of having Bahrain as a global digital hub. Is it really addressing that objective, and how?
Well, Global Zone is a carrier-neutral data center that was built just for the reason of building the environment for operators and content providers to collaborate. It's completely carrier-neutral. No, any operator, whether in Bahrain or outside of Bahrain, can co-locate. We have many operators, regional and local, regional and international, who are hosted there, and they are selling their services and exchanging traffic, whether through the IX or without the IX. We have one of the biggest ISPs internationally that's selling IP transit from from within the global zone to carriers in Kuwait and in other countries in the region. So it just provides them the place where they can host, where they can cross connect, and where they can exchange their data and provide their services. So we are providing them a tier 3 data center with all the facilities. It's certified design and build, and it's completely carrier neutral. It does not prefer any carrier such as Batelco, which is the owner of the global zone, on any other carrier that is in Bahrain or outside of Bahrain. So that ecosystem, IX plus the carrier neutral data center, is the enabler for this kind of business and the collaboration between all these operators and content providers.
Excellent. So Nina, when you thought about expanding your footprint in the regions and coming to the global zone, how do you see a global zone attracting you as an entity, as a subspace, to come and collocate there?
Well, every time we choose a place to build, I mean, there are two things that are really, really important. And the number one thing is, how easy is it to connect to the people that we're interested in connecting to? It's all about connectivity. When you're driving a business based on connecting to eyeball networks, the ease of doing so is the alpha and the omega in the decision. So that is the attraction. It's easy. Everyone, it creates an ability and a place where you can do that without too much hassle.
So what do you mean with
Obviously, we would like everything to be cheaper, always, you know. And that will probably happen if more people create global zones, or again, what we in other parts of the world just call a carrier neutral location, where you can go and connect to those you want to connect to.
Excellent. Frederick, do you agree with Nina on the same, or you'd like to elaborate more? Because you, as an Amazon, you have your own data center, but how do you see the presence of the global zone in Bahrain is directly or indirectly helping you as well, and helping, let's say, your customers?
Yeah, so I mean, carrier neutral data centers is the foundation of where the internet is built, or at least where interconnection is built mostly, right? So
Yeah.
all the big successful interconnection points in the world has come from a carrier neutral data center from the beginning, I would say. So yeah, we encourage everyone to join these type of carrier neutral data centers. And the more the merrier, right? We can have healthy competition, we can have a diverse services, and we have more people to connect to, and also more people to consume services from. So we are more than happy to see more people joining the global zone, as well as connect with us directly or through Manama X, or consume products that we offer there locally. So yeah, it is a foundation for building anything successful in the future, I would say.
Excellent. Thank you, Frederick. I have a question here from the audience. Saleh is asking, does Manama IX have terrestrial and submarine diversity backbones to Amsterdam IX and other content provider in case of cable cuts? And do these backbones will support 100%? So his question is basically on the, let's say, the availability of Manama IX, and what are the measures that you have taken, Taha, to ensure that the connectivity is always up and you can maintain the highest SLA?
Well, first of all, Manama IX being inside the global zone is one of the factors of high availability, because global zone has its own measures as a tier 3 data center. Additionally, we have, of course, the IX is a box at the end of the day. So customers or members can come with multiple links to the IX over different ports, over different cables. And when it comes to us remotely peering, yes, we will go through protected networks. Bahrain has multiple gateways that come into the, and they are all connected to the global zone, be it the King Fahd Bridge to Saudi Arabia, or our own BGN cable system that connects the whole GCC region terrestrially or overland, or the submarine cables that are connecting Bahrain, be it FOG, Falcon, GBI, TGN. There is a variety of cable systems that terminate in Bahrain, and you can use any of these to reach to Manama IX. So diversity is there.
Excellent. The second questions we have over here is where there will be more initiatives in Bahrain among Manama IX, the government and local ISPs to develop the IX in the region further. I think that having said that the strategy of the government, I can take that questions and answer it. We've explained at the beginning that there is a lot of initiatives and it's one of the strategic initiatives for Bahrain. So definitely we will see more of these services that will serve at the end of the day the digitization, let's say, initiatives in Bahrain and in the region as well. The other questions I have, I think that our audience is very interactive with us, and Hassan is asking, what are the main gaming application hosted in Manama IX? If we can disclose these names, if not, we can skip it.
I can start, I guess. So from an AWS point of view, we have many gaming customers, both big and small. We do have a couple of public reference, such as Supercell, Rovio, Ubisoft, for example, that runs services on AWS. That doesn't necessarily mean that they run them in Bahrain. However, we are trying to encourage everyone that runs global services to make sure to run them in all the regions so that they get closer to the customer. Sometimes they might not notice that we open a new region, like we open a couple of new per year, so not everyone pays attention to that. That's also why you will see from us, you will see a slow push where customers will, whenever they're allowed to, whenever there's a possibility, move services over. So the only thing I can assure you of is that you will see more gaming applications being hosted in our Bahrain cluster. But exactly who they are today, I couldn't really answer. Not only because I'm not allowed to, but also because it's hard for us to know what our customers are building, because that can change any minute for sure.
But some of the games, I would say, we have noticed the change in the region. My son is a gamer, so we see them, they are playing all the time, and we see that lately they have been very happy with the latency because of the change. So
absolutely. I mean, the gaming customers are driving a lot of our innovation currently.
Yeah.
They are, what can you say, one of our favorite customers, if you can say that. But since they are very demanding in terms of latency, it is very fun to help them build a better service, and building regions or building infrastructure close to end users in every part of the world is something that they truly need. So that is absolutely something we work with quite a lot.
Yeah. I actually was one of the stories that I heard from a friend that the young generations is now so interested on the ping. So when they came to know one of the games came to Bahrain and the ping rate has been dropped significantly, I was like, guy, I can now, play and win over my friends because I have like a faster connection. So that's something, and these are small things, but it makes a lot of difference for people who are real gamers, let's say, or they are interested in the gaming industry. We have one more questions to take from our audience, and then I think we need to two questions actually, and then we can wrap up the sessions. Unfortunately, the time is a constraint for us over here, but I'm very glad that I can see very interactive sessions running on now. There's a questions, I will read it out because I think I didn't get it well. It says 5 years from now, does ISPs see expansion in the IX connectivities rather than service providers? What will be the turnover in terms of content providers and edge providers as they need to push content to their servers and data centers? I think he's asking about the content providers and the edge providers, and I didn't get the question, to be honest with you. If you can, you guys can answer these questions, or shall I ask the the participant to put it in another way?
Do they mean, does it mean perhaps direct connectivity between the ISPs, or that they will connect to the IX?
He says, what will be the turnover in terms of content providers and edge providers?
I'm not getting it, but if I may answer this, I think he's talking about whether the IX can serve the customers directly or not. Maybe not going through the service providers or something. What I look forward in 5 years is that I want to see the financial services, in addition to the gaming, the financial services to come directly to the IX and start exchanging traffic, and direct, like banking sector, to have direct connectivities to the IX to speed up their services among themselves, instead of having different type of dedicated services that might be costly for them. And but the dependency for internet for end users, consumers, on the internet service providers will always be there. So
okay, Taha, I think that you got the question right, because the participant is happy. He says Taha got it, and you've addressed his questions very well. Thank you, Taha. The last questions we have here, Mohammed is asking, is Microsoft Teams hosted at Manama IX?
well, for those who are peering with Microsoft, I think they are using the Manama IX to reach Teams. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. I think I will stop here, taking questions from the audience, and with a few minutes left, let's wrap up these sessions. I would like to hear from Ono, a summary, let's say, on these sessions, and what is the takeaway for the audience from this webinar.
Connect to Manama IX, that will be one of the takeaways. But that the region is growing fast. Many things are happening. And that I'm looking forward to the first peak of 1 terabit at the Manama IX, Taha and Iman.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
The next person I see on the screen is Frederick. Frederick, can you please summarize today's sessions, and what is the main message that you want the people to take with them?
I mean, I guess connect to the Manama IX, right? But either way, I mean, connect to us. However you would like to do it, we're there to support you. We have a lot of traffic coming your way. It's going to be more in the future as well. We have a lot of customers that are super eager to develop in the Middle East, and we would like to help them as best as we possibly can. So please reach out to us on peering@amazon.com, or find any of us in person.
Excellent. Nina, if you say join Manama IX, then Manama IX will be the winner, and it will go to the final competition. So you want to say the same thing about it, about the session itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think the message is that, you know, you're on a really good path, and I think that's important. And also, obviously, I mean, Subspace is interested in connecting to everyone who has eyeball and gamers in the network, for sure. So we can improve the experience for everyone. And I'm very excited about seeing the development that's happening in the Middle East, and you know, the prospects for the next 5 years that we have talked about on today is very promising, and you know, and it's really exciting times for this region. Also, with the increased competition that we see in the local market for consumers, because we have to remember who drives the traffic up. You know, obviously businesses, but it's the local consumers. It's you and me at home using the internet for every aspect of our lives today, and that needs to happen for everyone, not just for those who can afford it. So so that increased competition in every level is a really exciting thing to see.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nina. The best left for the last, Taha, leading Manama IX.
Yeah, join us and let's grow and together. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So all of us agree that internet exchange is not something to be neglected in terms of the benefits. I've learned something very interesting from Nina today. It's not about the competition between the internet exchanges, it's about the collaboration. And people started to realize the benefits of being part of the internet exchanges. Again, we need the community to be educated. At the end of the day, the purpose of this session is that we don't want just to promote Manama exchange over other exchanges or internet exchanges in Bahrain over the others in the regions. The purpose is to educate our customers, our audience about the importance and how that will address the challenges that I've mentioned earlier. With that, I'd like to wrap up this session today. And thank you very much, my panelists, for the useful insights that you have shared today with us. I'm sure everybody will agree that it was beneficial for us. I wish it was a longer sessions that we can take more questions and answer them. Today's sessions is recorded and will be uploaded into Amsterdam IX YouTube channel and Batelco YouTube channels. For those who missed it or would like to return back to the contents, please feel free to watch them on our channels. For more information on Manama IX, please visit the website mni-ix.com. And for more information on the Global Zone, please visit globalzone.ph. Thank you very much, everybody, and hopefully to see you soon again, maybe not on a virtual webinar, but rather on a face-to-face event. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.